Good evening and welcome to Bloggers on I-24 News. I'm Oded Grober and I'm very happy to welcome you to our show where we try to bring you a different perspective on news stories as well as social trends. To help me with that, I have with me in the studio Mayan Rodeh from Israel Hayom website and Yoav Borowitz from The Buzzer. So thank you both for coming today. And before we begin though, I'd like to start with 3 short stories to get us going.
A 100% interactive world, it's the future according to an Israeli startup, Gauzy, which succeeded in raising $4 million to fulfill a dream, turning any glass surface into a screen. At the heart of this invention, liquid crystal controllers. Science fiction, coming soon in your cars. The Saudi Abdullah al-Zahrani was chosen with 39 other candidates to live on Mars. The Mars One project is led by a Dutch entrepreneur company and intends to send 4 humans in 2023 to establish a colony and turn it into a reality TV show. The project has been launched, but suffers from lack of sponsors and credibility. So, see you in 2023? According to Courier International, in Somalia, the best way to get in touch with the opposite sex is through Facebook. In a country where religious militia is still feared, young people meet secretly on the web. The penetration rate of the internet is only 2%, but half of the users are between 18 and 24.
So I'm especially curious about this last story about Somalia. I mean, they didn't invent online dating, but it can't be that Facebook is the answer for everything, is it? Yoav?
Yeah, I guess that's Facebook's power. 2 years ago, we were talking about the Tahrir revolution in Egypt and how Facebook was essential. Facebook, Twitter was essential in gathering the people there, the masses. Now we're talking about an African country, third world Muslim country, very low penetration rate for internet, but half of the users are young, using Facebook, dating through Facebook.
Right. If it doesn't have that power right now, it will very soon.
Good PR for Facebook.
Right, Mayan?
Yeah, I think the 2% understood what Facebook is all about. And it's not about going to demonstrate or going to the street. It's about private statuses and photos.
Right. So maybe Facebook is the current solution for every third world country that needs to reinvent itself, but let's keep going. The Israeli metal band Orphaned and its Arab counterpart Chalas will tour Europe together this autumn, performing 18 concerts in 6 countries. For 3 weeks, they will live on the same bus and play alongside each other on stage. The Metal Brotherhood, a report by Flo Sitruk.
A mosque, Christ, Moses. Orphaned plays on the symbols of the 3 great monotheistic religions. It is one of the most listened to metal bands in the Middle East.
We are Israelis, we are Jews, but people consider us to be the band who started the Oriental metal genre, and Egyptians, Syrians, they see us as their flag band as well.
Orphaned will be playing in Europe along Israeli Arab band Chalas. The tour is, in essence, a story of relationship between Kobi and Abed, the Chalas guitarist.
We met like 2004 in a radio station. And for me it was like, yeah, this is Orphaned. I can't believe that I'm meeting them, being a fan of Orphaned. So I met the guys, I gave them our first album, and the friendship started from there. Then through phone, then I visit Kobi in Jaffa. Kobi comes to Akka all the time, so he's now a brother.
Kobi, who is of Bulgarian Jewish origin, was born and grew up in the old city of Jaffa. Oriental music and the chant of the muezzin were part of the musical landscape of his youth.
In the silence of the early morning, it's like music that wakes you up. Often, in the songs of Orphaned Land. I try to sing like a muezzin. And the guy who lives opposite me receives a load of heavy metal smack in the face.
Chalas defines himself as a Palestinian metal band. His fans don't particularly like the idea of him playing alongside Israelis.
Together, musically, they are good for each other, professionally-wise. Politically,
Chalas even had to cancel a concert in Ramallah.
For them, it's a normalization with the occupation or whatever. It kind of hurts because this is the same people that used to listen to Chalas. Of course, it's a small amount of them, but still, it's the same people who know Chalas for 15 years, and now suddenly for them we are Zionists and Israelis, which is dumb.
This is not Orphaned Land's first experiment in Brotherhood. In 2011, it toured Europe with Tunisian and Lebanese bands.
Every night on stage, we said to people, yeah, we are Muslims, we are Jews, we are Christians, but we have the biggest religion in the world, and that is music.
And when one asks Abed what he expects of the tour, he answers in true rocker style.
Well, first of all, we're going to hang out with, our best friends. That's the most important thing about it. Besides sex, drugs, and rock and roll.
So it seems like music can bridge almost any gap, Mayan. It certainly works for the band members, maybe less so for their audience?
Yeah, I think if you don't know what you're listening to, if you don't know if they're Israeli or they're Palestinian, then you hear the music and you just enjoy it. The problem is if you do know before and then you choose if to listen it or not, and that's the problem.
Right. Orphaned Land is pretty successful in Arab countries as well. Do you think that it's that they don't know who they're listening to, or that they just disregard the political implications?
I think in most cases, when you love a band, you don't care so much where they come from. And we saw that. We had Brazilian death metal bands popular all over the world. People didn't even know they're Brazilian. We had a lot of examples. But it's true that Orphaned Land are very successful in Arab countries in the last few years and in Turkey. And I guess many people do know that they're Israeli, but what they're doing is a really important thing, really beautiful thing, because they're really trying they've been touring with Lebanese bands and Tunisian bands and now Chalas. So really to try to create this musical coexistence, as you know, we 2013 and we almost didn't have those initiatives until now. So I still think they're making history to some extent.
Yeah. I think they're more Middle Eastern than Israelis in their music. Mm-hmm. They represent music from the Middle East and not just the Jewish music.
Right.
One of Israel's problems for years is that it failed to realize that it's in the Middle East. So they do it. And they succeed in it.
That's certainly true. Do you think they could do more, maybe? Because the use of this, the thing that sets them apart, the fact that they're Israeli, the fact that they carry some sort of message of peace, I'm sure helps their ticket sales as well in certain places. Maybe not in Ramallah for Chalas, but
I'm sure
it's
opening. First of all, they're a successful band and they have their places where to perform in Europe. But I'm sure the fact that they represent this kind of peace advancement definitely helps. And I think it's not, they're joining now Chalas, which is a bold, most of Orphaned Land's concerts are outside Israel. They're more of an international band. But they're really, as Mayan said, they're perceived as a Middle Eastern band, and they do it in the right way. And I think we should all congratulate them for that.
Yeah, how do you think Europe is gonna take them?
I think that this is a gimmick, performing with a Palestinian artist. And as we saw in the Eurovision, that Mira Awad and Achinoam Nini performed, if the music is not good, then people won't come. So the music should be good. And
well, that of course is always true, but you think that it's just a gimmick, that it's not, that there's no deeper musical connection there? You think what they had in mind is ticket sales?
I'm not sure that they need to use this ticket because they're a metal band and they need to still stay the rebellious and to use the wild thing and not be too mainstream.
Right. Well, very interesting, but we have to move on, unfortunately, to an old Jewish religious ritual that is experiencing quite a comeback in recent years and threatens to take over Israeli bachelorette parties. Although most participants are secular, the Hafrashat Chala, or Chala separation ritual, seems to give them hope. More in the following story.
Israel, karaoke, pub, or discos are very has-been. Last tendency for a good girls' night, whether it is a baby shower or a bachelorette party, is hafashat challah, separating the challah, the Shabbat's bread. In the Jewish history, where there were temples and priests, the women used to separate their Shabbat's bread dough and give a part of it to the priests. If this tradition is still observed among religious, secular women don't really know what this is all about. So the hottest trend now is to take part in one of these rituals with a religious teacher who made a real job of this tendency. They prepare flour, bowl, water, and baking powder, and the atmosphere seems to be very electric.
May you always smile. May you always live in happiness. And kids! Children are joy. They're a blessing.
And the teachers are sure, separating the challah has an unequaled spiritual strength. It helps singles find a mate, infertile women give birth, and to the sick to heal.
This divine commandment is great, and it proves itself. I am every time newly surprised by its power and by the salvation it gives.
A trip back to ancestral tradition or temporary fashion. Anyway, these bread evenings reflect the hopes and dreams of the Israeli for whom the most important is to believe.
So I might not be going to enough bachelorette parties because I've never seen that. But have you ever, Mayan, have you ever seen that?
I have never seen it, but I heard it is a very powerful thing. Makes you...
There are some strong reactions to it.
Yeah.
Okay, what I find interesting about it is that this is a ritual that has some religious significance, but the woman that comes to the that we've just seen in the story seems like more of an entertainer.
Yeah, she is. She's half a rabbi's wife and half an entertainer. Not long ago, women would bring sex therapists to bachelorette parties. Some even bring male strippers. Some bring other kind of experts. So now it's this thing, and it has religious roots, obviously, but in Israel we know that the religious and the secular is always blended. So now it's the new thing.
For good and for bad.
For good and for bad, right? That's the story of this country. And now we have this new thing, and they bring the challah separation expert. And they say it brings good luck and it brings fertility and a lot of other good merits and whatever. So
Mayan,
that's
do you think that there is a difference between this and bringing a numerologist?
I think the difference is this is much cheaper. It's like flour and water, and what do you need more?
You pay the woman.
Yeah. I think maybe I should do it. I think she makes the profit, but I think it's the same. It's an exotic thing that women want to bring to their bachelorette party, just a new one.
So is it just trying to? Sorry, go ahead.
No, I think they're also trying to get to get some content and some significance into their party. And we know that the Afrashat Challah was something that was done in the temple in the old days. It was actually the first mitzvah that Bnei Israel got to do in this country. So it has some religious roots and it has some significance, and many women are looking for this kind of religious connection, even if they are secular. The whole marriage thing is in Israel. It's in most cases it is a religious.
By the religious.
It's a religious ritual. It's a religious ceremony. So they're trying to maybe strengthen that, or to bring their own personal kind of like good luck charm into this, and that's what it is.
Yeah, I think in weddings everyone is Jewish. Everyone chooses almost
before and after they're not.
Yeah.
No, there is definitely some truth.
The wedding is a Jewish thing, and you do it properly. And maybe this is another part of it, but I think it's just an exotic thing to bring to your.
And it's a fashionable thing, and we know like a lot of fashionable things today. It's very in. In a year from now, it might be out.
Thank you. Every week, we ask our bloggers to bring us something that may have escaped us in the social sphere. We'll start with Mayan. What have you got for us?
I want to recommend about a YouTube channel. It's of a guy called Mark Rober. He's a scientist. He's an engineer in NASA, and he does all kind of scientific stuff in a very funny way. He tested how people react to a guy with one eyebrow, or how to make cool things with your smartphone.
And he puts it all on charts, which makes it so much easier to understand.
And it's funny also.
I love charts.
like
right,
a half an hour to
Mayan.
watch, which is really fun.
I'll make sure to look into that. Yoav, what do you got?
I'm recommending a very good website. It's called ussportspages.com.
Okay.
It's a link to all the sports pages, all the sports websites and sports newspapers all over the world. So and it's all in English. If you want to know what's happening in Argentina, Nigeria, Austria, Israel, it's all there. Highly recommended.
All right, I'll make sure to look into that as well. Thank you. I'd like to thank you, Mayan, and thank you, Yoav, and thank you at home for joining us. You're very welcome to check out our website at i24news.tv, to follow us on Twitter and Facebook. I'll be here again next Saturday with the new bloggers.